This week on the Push Pull Loads podcast, if we had 3 months to start it all again, what exactly would we do? Also, if you're listening to this and you think somebody else could benefit from it, then give us a share. Tell us that you're listening on Instagram. Share it to your stories. It means literally the world to me and Dan. And thanks for listening. And 3, 2, 1. Do they celebrate Halloween in Dubai then?
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me, Tom Hall. What's going on, buddy?
Just realised the microphone was quite away from my face then, so I apologise if that got a little bit louder as I move towards the microphone. But yes, they do. Yes, there is Halloween in all the shops and everything. So there's quite a lot of Western influence here, but without the Western influence, it wouldn't be a thing, no. So it's kind of like, yeah, it kind of is, but also it wouldn't be if not. And as you know, mate, I'm a Grinch about anything celebratory, so I'm not a big fan of Halloween in the slightest. I just don't give a shit about it.
Loser.
I just think it's so overrated, and I just don't understand why we're so big on the American way of doing things. But hey, you know,
it's just fun. In the sake of fun, Dan, you can dress up as a boring bastard, and then Isabel can dress up as a pumpkin. But what we really want to know is what will your little doggies be dressing up as? That's what we really
hot dogs. Basically. Just get like just get the bun on the outside. You know, yeah, that's it. That's what we get in American. Yeah,
that's what. Oh no, I won't. I'll be afterwards, won't I? Yeah, strange. It was just amusing because I was walked past a shop and it was all Halloween stuff, and I was like, oh, it is, isn't it?
I mean, the thing that strikes me as odd is that I've seen stuff in the UK anyway, from people posting about Christmas before I saw stuff about Halloween. So it's like they post Christmas stuff and go, oh, hang on a minute, we forgot about that. Let's do Halloween. Or they post it at the same time. I just find it a bit strange. But yeah, like I said, each to their own, you know. But it's a bit much, isn't it? It is a bit much, like Christmas stuff. September.
Christmas stuff now, yeah. Well, I still think the best one was it when I came back from, obviously it was like COVID central, wasn't it? The last Christmas or whatever it was. And I came back up to London to try and escape COVID. I ended up getting it. I spent New Year's by myself. How bad's that? Like, that's crazy.
Because you got no friends, mate.
Because I got no friends. And I was like shielding because, my family had COVID and I'd spent my whole Christmas with them. I was like, please don't get it. Please don't get it. I got it.
And you got it, yeah.
I got it, yeah. On like literally the last day when my housemate was coming back. I was like, brilliant. What was it? Yeah, I went down to the Tesco and I think it was I went up on the 27th and obviously I was trying to go and get food. And on the 27th of December, there was Cadbury cream eggs out in the Tesco.
So I'm all right with.
I was like, I'm buying some, but yeah, of course. But the principle is wrong. It was a little bit strange. I was just like, oh yeah, Cadbury cream eggs in December, unless you're saving them. But yeah, I don't know what their shelf life is, if I'm honest. So forever. Does chocolate go off?
I think how shit Cadbury's chocolate is now. I just don't think it matters. I think it doesn't go off, does it? No, surely not.
No, surely not. No,
I wouldn't have thought so.
Anyway, how has your week been?
It's been all right, Nothing crazy's happened. Trying to think, mate. Other than the whole UK going to absolute shit overnight because of one person's announced some shit.
Oh, quasi
announcing. Other than that, mate, everything's all right. I think nothing crazy's gone on that I can remember. Blitz obviously closes on Friday, so if you want 8 weeks of fat loss, get in on that because next time we do it, it's going to be a bit different. So just throwing it out there.
But first. Fat gain.
Yeah, fat gain program for 8 weeks. Yeah. All you can eat, that's going to be. So there we go.
I think people would be in for that. That'd be great. You just post like pictures of your food each night, or just like, shit, I'm going here. Put on this much. Yeah. That'd be great.
Easy as that, So I think that's about it, mate. Nothing crazy. What about yourself, mate? Obviously, the combine guys have done well.
Of course they have. I mean,
we didn't talk about the last podcast, did we? It was only this one that's been recently because I've only seen you posting the results on Instagram.
Yeah, I can't remember, if I'm honest. I think I said it was finishing, or I said something about it, because there was a couple of people reached out and actually thought our musing on group coaching was quite informative. Different for our podcast normally.
We've got some nice feedback. That makes a change.
I know. But
Thanks, guys.
I think we'll just put it out here. If you enjoy the show, this is at the start. We're in the first 5 minutes, right? If you enjoy the show at any point, and obviously we've done 330 episodes. This will be, and every single one is free. Me and Dan make a lot of free content. We're not asking you for money. Just fucking share it. Just be like, oh, share it with something. You don't even have to post it on your story. Just be like, oh, another trainer. You might like this, just in case.
Yeah.
Because every now and again, unfortunately, me and Dan have together been in the fitness industry for over 20 years of experience. So give or take, and we're still in it. Fuck me. Yeah. Idiots.
More for us.
But yeah,
more for us, mate. Yeah.
Anyway, skirting back. The combine guys did well. So I think across the board, obviously I could be lying, but I can produce the numbers. I will post my accounts on Company's House. I don't know whether they'll take Excel spreadsheets of the results, and I didn't fill them out. I think that's the one good thing, because my clients have to fill their spreadsheet out. I don't touch them. Mainly because I'm lazy, but mainly because I'm not fucking watching their sessions, so I don't know what they've done. I do mandatory. I normally say film everything, but lack of filming has been. I had to go at everybody because I wanted filming of everybody. Because guess what? It's great fucking content. I like seeing people do well. So net 11.35% up across the board, and I've still got three people, but they're one-to-one guys who will be retesting. Obviously they get a little bit more of a handhold because they're special and they get to talk to me more. So
just lucky people
they get literally walked through. But across the board it was interesting though, because obviously I wrote the plan and they just fucking did it and executed well, and I can see there's already like progress to different pathways and whatever, and I put together more of a strength one, but I thought the last one was more kind of an all-round one. But I guess it did really, in terms of the improvements across the board, it did pick up on just people's weaknesses. That's what it really showed me. It was like some people made a big like stride in their power. Some people made a big like was 20% up in their strength endurance. And I was like, whereas relating to their power wasn't as much because he was already quite a springy little lad. And then he's just added to his strength endurance. And then the strength stuff was kind of get in around 10% the whole time anyway. So I was kind of expecting that's more predictable, I feel, in terms of increasing somebody's strength. That's far more predictable than increasing somebody's like elastic properties in terms of the power and the strength endurance. And ESD, the energy system development, that's all the shit that Dan doesn't like doing at the end. It turns out nobody likes doing it at the end. No. Unless you're a one-to-one client. Obviously, I don't kick you out the arse in the group that much in group training. The one-to-one guys do get a little bit more of a kick up the arse if they don't do it, because I know they don't do it, because I'll look at their stuff. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, really easy week. I was like, no, I need you to do that because you're going to be better for it. Trust me. If you took me and Dan, or I know Dan and Mike, they both did the same plan for 6 weeks. Yet Dan does some ESD, sprinting, some aerobic capacity sprinkled in. Dan is going to be better at recovering. Dan is going to be more athletic, and he is going to be a better functioning person than Mike, who only does lifting. 1000%. Doesn't even matter. I think people, don't realize that, and we can bastardize cardio. Fucking walking. I think the
other thing as well. Like I think just the other thing on that is I think one thing that I've noticed from doing, I've done I think out of my training now, I've done the same session 3 times in 3 weeks.
You keep on getting it wrong. Is that why? I've got to repeat that.
And I tell you what, the thing that I find odd about those numbers that you've just described there is that I think the ESD stuff is the stuff that you improve on the quickest. But obviously, people haven't done it as much. But I've noticed after 3 weeks of doing it, like the improvements I've seen. Like I remember the first time because I was using the assault bike, right? I'm doing the assault bike stuff, so I use RPM as a gauge for kind of like intensity and progress. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, had to keep I think it was a 55 RPM steady for a minute, or for 20 calories or something like that. And I was like, fuck me, this is a bit much. And then the other day I was doing it and I was doing 65 RPM and I was like, this is fine. And it's like you can see improvements quicker, in my opinion, than you can with weights because for some reason your body just adapts to that a lot quicker. And as you said, the recovery then improves. And I think the other thing that people forget with ESD stuff is that like you said, you see benefits in things like your sleep, like 100% you will, in recovery and your ability to deal with things like stress and stuff. I know it sounds stupid to say out loud, but I think it all relates more than just strength training. It's why I'm so big and why I've got someone who tells me to do it, even though I don't always do it because the gym's a bit busy and the equipment's not available. And any chance I get, I skip it because again, it's hard. But then I always say to people, like, the stuff that you find the hardest is the stuff that you need to do the most. Like, that's the reality of it, right? If you're great at squatting and you love squatting and you like, I don't really a fan of trap bar deadlifts, I bet you if you did trap bar deadlifts, you'd see more improvements in your overall physique and overall development and power than you would if you did squats because you've already got to a higher level with that. Same with the cardio stuff. It's just, you just would benefit from doing it if you hate doing it. It's that simple because you've resisted it for that long. You're that, untrained in it. And that's what I always say to people. It's like with anything though. Like coaches, I'm not very good at writing. Well, write more and you'll get better at it. Get on video more, you'll be better on video. It's that same old shit where, we don't want to hear it, but, you have to do stuff you shit at to get better at it. There you go.
Correct.
Boring,
and I feel like it's obviously it's an awful, I don't know, obviously with Hyrox, CrossFit and stuff like that, conditioning ESD is generally programmed with, as we saw with that fucking thing we reviewed the other week of the program, it's just not done at all well.
Well, yeah, because people just think it's, get out of breath.
Brilliant. Yeah, and it's just like, all right, well, there's certain things I can't remember. There's one of the lads is big into ESD. I can't remember the papers he uses in the course, but I've got a little document that I work off, which I won't share with people. You can come fucking talk to me if you really want. And I will share it with you in a DM. But yeah, if you want to work out like, so there's certain things that obviously I do for working out aerobic speed and stuff like that. So max aerobic, if say, for example, Dan does his assault bike, I would, and I know Dan, unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, I have to say this, he's reasonably trained. He's a pretty good in terms of a mover and he can train.
That's nice.
So he'll probably, within the first 2 weeks of training with me, he'll be doing a 2 mile or like 2K like assault bike test. And he'd be like, go fuck yourself, Tom. Basically, I need something 5+ minutes, something like that. And then to find his max aerobic speed, I need an average like RPM over a minute, basically. So whatever that adds up to from that 5 to 6 minutes, that 2 miles would be my MAS, so it's max aerobic speed. And then I use a max aerobic speed calculation to work out what people are meant to be doing. So I just quickly got that up because I thought it would be relevant. So for example, aerobic power, we might do 1 to 5 minutes at max aerobic speed and then recover all the way to 130 beats per minute. So I want them to use their heart rate as the of when they recover, and then I'm like, all right, I need you to go to, and then you go boom on again, and I just decide to like however many times I want them to do it, and that's going to build their max aerobic speed. And we're relating that to the variable is the thing we're working to is heart rate, because that's how we're building aerobic capacity. So might as well do that. So it's interesting when people don't really take that into account. So it's obviously something we do with watt bikes, right? And then we would have done throughout our careers with those in terms of wattage and power outputs and stuff like that, because we know, all right, zone 2 would be something you're able to, I think is it zone 3? You should be able to sit in zone 3 for about 4 hours or something like that, mad. And then something like zone 2, you can sit that long. But it relatively equates to kind of your beats per minute and your heart rate and your breathing and stuff like that. So that's how you use it with watt bikes and zones and stuff like that. But yeah, it's getting nerdy, Dan. But certainly something that people can program better instead of going, off you go.
Yeah,
But that's I would tend to program the off you go method in the first couple of months. Don't get me wrong, because I just need them to vaguely work, and then we go, right, you've managed to work. Now we're going to lay some science on it. So.
Yeah,
I agree.
For sure, like that. And I think like we talked about this before, I think on an episode where it's like, people just don't program it correctly because it's just bastardized the way it's done. It's just go for a run, and it's just that gap in between go for a run and do 1,000,000 burpees in a time cap, and if you don't do that, you're a failure. Plus add some snatches in there as well. Like it's that in between bit of going, actually, look, we can track some of the metrics, some of the data. You don't have to run the whole time. You can take breaks. You can take a minute rest. You can do work rest ratios. You can work all that out and improve those. So again, like work to rest ratios, like you might do a 1 to 2 work to rest ratio. And if you do the same amount of absolute kind of distance or work, or whatever, but you can do it in a 2 to 1 ratio per work block, you again, it's one of those where you reduce the rest down and you're getting fitter. Even though you do the same distance and the same amount of actual work, if you can do it at the same time, the same time splits, but with smaller rest, you've got fitter. People don't look at that. They just look at, I can do more. Well, no, rest less. That's a way of increasing energy system development. And people just don't think like that. They don't ever test themselves. They don't ever push the limits from that point of view. So usually because they give up and they suck it off.
But yeah, there's lots of different things. Like, so to put them into little categories, I have like cardiac output, tempo work, aerobic power, lactate capacity, alactate capacity, and alactate power are the ones that I use. And if anybody wants to chat about that, then DM me. It's fine. Or just get coached. It's fine. But the big one that I think a lot of people don't program well is it has a lot of caveats because I don't think it's taught well. Is power. And it's only kind of taught I feel like it's only taught in S&C school. And it's just like, oh God, power. They're like, oh, I can do more. But I guess a lot of clients are like, oh, well, I can lift more. I can definitely do more. And it's like, yeah, I know. But as soon as we're not moving with that velocity or doing anything, it just like you back off. But yeah, it's fun, Dan. It's fun. But anyway, I think so. The biggest ones were strength endurance, and then we had like a 5%. I think I'm still fucking happy with that. Something like 5%, 4% increase in terms of power, and that's based off like a triple broad jump, which is reactive forces, and then a one step vertical, and then a broad jump, and then we do a trap bar relative body weight test as well, which is cool. Yeah, if you want to get 11% better, then slide into my DMs. It's fine. Only 11 though. I can't do anymore.
Yeah, if you want 13 or something, come to me. But if for 11, Tom's the expert on that one.
11.35. It's such an obscure number. I said nobody will question it, so it's fun.
There you go. No one has questioned it, Tom. So we're all good, mate.
I know. Anyway, so there was a couple of things that happened in the fitness world. There was one big thing I think happened in the fitness world this week, Dan. Apart from my athletes setting it alight. Was the Arnolds, or not the Arnolds? Was it called the Arnolds? Or...
I think it was called the Arnold Sports Festival, but then Arnold wasn't there. Is that right?
Arnold refused to go, and then it was just called Sports Festival UK or something like that. They like took Arnold off the name, which is interesting.
It's all a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just like I guess we could talk about this in terms of fitness expos. There's a couple of questions that I think we'll try and answer in a couple of questions that I've made up because I'd like to know Dan's thoughts, because I think it was an interesting topic in a meeting I almost fell asleep in today, but it adds as content, doesn't it? If I vaguely listen, and then we can put a spin on it. But yeah, fitness expos, yes or no, Dan?
I don't get them anymore. I think the time's been and gone, and I think I think there's a reason they're not really around hugely at the moment, and for that reason, I don't think people
COVID is that
bothered about them. Well, yeah, it was obviously because that originally, and then I think since then people have realised actually it's just not anything worth worrying about.
So I don't think personally. I've been to 2 this year because I was forced. I was contractually obliged to be there, and apart from like saying hello to the likely people you see anyway, that you only know through social media, which is always interesting. And they were like, "Oh, Tom, you're a lot bigger than I thought you'd be." I was like, "Thank you. Dan is tiny, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I literally never get that. It's fine. It seemed to me that from the ones that I went to, people were way more into the events that were there. So whatever sport was being played there, I use the term sport as in like bodybuilding stage or the powerlifting stages or stuff like that. People were around there all day, but I can only assume that they're obviously watching a friend or a gym buddy or whatever, and that's why they're there. Not particularly, and I feel like the other stuff is kind of just that, oh, well, we'll check in on that. All right, cool. We'll
I just don't
talk,
see how. I just don't see how,
how
in any way, like it's supposed to be. I don't know what it's supposed to be promoting. Like I don't get it. And I think they tried to get the speakers there. Like I said, look, we've been there. I've spoken. You've spoken. Body power, things like that. But I just don't get how they make a decent amount of money. Number one, but number two, I don't get the whole brands with loads of money go there, spend loads of money, and it's brand awareness maybe, and maybe.
Yeah, I think also peek behind the curtain. Like when me and Dan have spoke, we haven't got paid for that. That's
obviously you don't get paid like anything.
I think because I've had a few people go, "Oh, Tom, you seem to speak at some stuff," and I'm like, yeah. It's not always a great thing. I have to be like, is it worth my Saturday? Like,
yeah, and I think it's and don't worry, don't get me wrong, it's nice to see people in the industry or to network a little bit, but I think there's a huge misconception that going to those things is going to somehow improve your business. Anyway, it's not. Like, there's no way it's going to. It's because again, the people that are there aren't looking for that type of thing, in my opinion. Whenever I've been to them before, it's I just don't think you'll ever see it again like it was with Body Power, like at that level. I just don't think it's. And again, I didn't even know the Arnold Sports thing was on. Didn't even know it was a thing.
I just saw it all over some of the, I guess, the PT groups I'm in, and they were just like, "Oh, look what's happening!" And I was like, "Okay, cool." I think like when you're fresh in the industry, it gets quite exciting, and obviously that was when we probably first started going. But I think the way to do it is go with like 4 or 5 mates who are all PTs, and then you have a little laugh around like the industry you're in. I think that would be fun. I don't recommend like probably going to go and learn and stuff like that. I get that there's a lot of talks on and stuff like that, but guess what?
Was it the NEC? Was it the Arnold Sports Festival?
Probably.
So it wasn't the same place. Like, it's the same sort of looking thing as Body Power, essentially.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of the content and the talks and stuff that people do, nobody's preparing a talk that they haven't done before for those shows, and they wouldn't have already produced online on their content. They probably got a lead magnet doing that properly with the slides and stuff like that. So just go up to their email list and they'll probably send it to you. Like that's the case. So I prefer listening to a podcast, and I will take that because I'm in my environment and blah, 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 going through there. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it looks like it went. Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman were there. They were the two that were there, basically.
They got paid then. Nobody else did.
Yeah, they'd have been paid, obviously. Yeah, maybe not enough, but they were paid. Ronnie Coleman must have been there on crutches, was he?
Can he not walk?
Well, he had his bad back surgery, and he's got a fucked back from lifting all those weights. Yeah.
Oh, that's what weight lifting.
Weights.
Yeah, true.
That's
don't lift weights, guys. Bad back. Get bad back.
Yeah, don't lift them badly. That'd be the main thing I would say. But yeah,
I know both of those people. I wouldn't be able to pick them out of a lineup. That's how not in the bodybuilding world I've ever been.
I wouldn't expect you to be able to, mate. Don't worry.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who they are. No. Give me shoulder like rehab specialists. I'd be able to do that.
You know that?
Like, yeah. Tony Cochler. Yeah, I know where he is. Mike Reinold. Oh yeah, I know that guy. They're all tiny, it seems to be. I had to give some recommendations on shoulder people today, and I was like, I know these guys. It was always a trusted network.
That's so cool, mate.
I know. Anyway, but where are we going? But it was interesting. I just thought, because I know I've known your view on those things for a while, and obviously, unfortunately, in education, you get dragged to them every now and again because you have to educate. I guess without people, you don't educate, but it's always a hard one as well from a brand perspective. Like, say, if Biceps and Banter went there, or when the PTC did, or Third Space, because I spoke for Third Space at Elevate and stuff like that. And I guess it was good in a way that a couple of people from different brands and like companies came up, was like, oh, I really loved it. I'd love to have a chat about certain things or blah, 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 about what you were doing. And I was like, nothing really have come of it. Maybe I should have chased it a little bit more, but I was just like, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, nothing comes of those discussions. That's half the problem. But also is that as well is that I think a lot of PTs go thinking that they're going to drastically transform their business. And at the end of the day, they'd be better off spending that time doing loads of other things, like filming content rather than going to an event like that on a day. Yeah, I think it's just that and again, that learn from our mistakes that we've been there and done it. And you can go and have a fun time if you just want to go, but don't go there thinking you're going to move your business further forward, because people there aren't interested in PTs. Like, again, it's like, where are your demographic? Where are they hanging out? Where are they spending time? They're not there. Like, going there is pointless. Like, it's just going to indoctrinate you more into a world of fitness that actually is alienating you from the general public, not moving you further towards them. Essentially.
Yeah. Which brings me on to the questions that I did write down, because you've segued nicely. Okay. So from a training point of view, I guess we can talk nutrition as well. And business. So probably 3 big sides of personal training: nutrition, business, and training. They're all relatively symbiotic, apart from, I ignore the nutrition thing because just people eat.
Just eat burgers, it's fine.
I kid. We can do nutrition. Is if you were, let's say, a PT or relatively new in the industry, and say, Dan, you've got 3 months, so a quarter of the year, to use your time wisely. I won't say like to just like go, I can only do 3 months and then I'm done. Using your time wisely, what would you do in, say, pretty much nothing, but you're going to go in the first 3 months, what are the most important things and kind of key things to get in shape, and what you would go and learn, what you'd learn about, of why would you do that, blah, 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 blah. What would you do? Would there be anybody you'd go and follow, talk to, blah, 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 blah.
In nutrition first?
Go nutrition first. That sounds like the most boring.
Jesus. I would.
So you got 3 months. 3 months. What would you do to go and learn nutrition-y things? I think a lot of them, I think there'll obviously be carryovers on this, but.
Are we going to assume that they were like qualified? And
they're qualified personal trainer. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're looking to build their business, they're looking to build their training knowledge, and they're looking to build their nutrition knowledge. What would they do?
I would probably do some sort of basic nutrition qualification, certification, like precision nutrition probably will get done in 3 months. I think something like that. Something like a longer, like year-long program that's more money is just going to be too slow. You don't need to know that much either. So that'd be number one. Number two would be, I would extensively study the demographic that I wanted to work with, and I would really try and get to know their problems with nutrition, because it's all well and good knowing about calories and knowing about protein and knowing about all these things that you do need to know, on a fundamental scientific level. But people's problem with food is usually because it's, I don't think it's lack of education for a lot of people. I think most people know that burgers are not as good for them as salads, and they know that chicken and broccoli is better for them than KFC, right? They're not stupid at that level. It's more about the reasons why they aren't prioritizing certain things, or the reasons why they are turning to certain foods and certain things like that. So I would be spending a lot of time with the niche that I wanted to work with, and I would find out a lot about them. I would speak to them. I would do anything I could, and I'd offer to work with them for free, just to get an idea of what questions they came to me with, what problems they were facing, because that will then set you up with knowing what content to put out and how to help that person on a daily basis. So you need to know their daily life, their daily struggles. And again, their daily struggles aren't, I need to get more protein in. No, that's the solution to their problem. Their problem is that they go after quick energy fixes all the time. They never prepare any food. They don't actually have some sort of structure. And they are super stressed and super anxious and have no idea where to begin. That is the problem. The solution is, well, they need to eat more protein. But people posting videos saying, here's how to eat more protein. Not really going to help. It's not going to, and they don't need, and they also don't care about why protein is good for them. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They just want the benefit of it, which is that they'll feel fuller. They won't crave things anymore. Great. That's what they need out of it. But they don't need to be told why they need to eat more protein because it's better for their muscles and recovery. They don't care. They don't give a shit. You have to sell them with the thing that they want out of it. which is weight loss usually and things like that, right? So I think there's a key thing there in nutrition of understanding the actual problem that people face. And like I said, it's not that you need to understand more about calorie deficit or protein or carbs or fats or timing of foods and things like that. It's understanding the root cause of the problem as to why these people that you want to work with aren't focused on their nutrition right now. So speak to them, ask them that question.
Speak to those kind of people. I guess it's like go research, I guess. Speak
like,
to like
so people say all the time.
People.
Yeah, people say all the time, like, oh, yeah, it's easier said than done. Where do you find it, right? So when I did copywriting mentoring, one of the things that we got told for research is go on Reddit. They said Reddit is the best place to look for problems. People are typing in all the time, I can't lose weight. I'm a 40-year-old mom and I can't lose weight. Can someone help me or whatever? And you just get reams and reams and reams of people saying, yeah, I struggle with this. I struggle with that. The problem is this. You spend 2 hours on there, and I guarantee you'll come away with a much, much better understanding of what your target market has a problem with in terms of their nutrition. And if you don't, you haven't looked hard enough. You've just skimmed it. And this other thing is again, coaches would rather sit there and read a textbook on nutrition and feel like they're moving towards understanding more and being able to help their clients, but they don't. But that doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. That's procrastination, and that's actually just burying your head in the sand and pretending that you're working when you're not. You're far better off understanding the human being that you want to work with than you are about understanding the scientific principles of nutrition. Because if you don't understand the human being and their problems and what they face on a daily basis, you can't help them with their nutrition anyway. So it's fucking pointless knowing more about their nutrition. So many coaches dive deep into more qualifications, more upskilling with science, more understanding all those nutrition qualifications. They need to understand human beings. And the best place to do that is to find out what their problems are, because you can then help them.
Bear in mind, this is the first 3 months, Dan.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, but that is the best place to start.
Yeah.
Because then what happens is you work with enough people, because you understand their problems, that they start coming to you with questions about their nutrition, and you go, shit, I need to upskill my nutrition a bit more. But you've already got some clients because you can get results, people, because you understand them. So do it that way around. But most do it the opposite way around. They do all the nutrition qualifications that take 2-3 years, spend all that money, and they still don't have any clients. It's like, well, because you don't understand the human being. You think it's all about the food and about crisps or cucumber or chicken, and it's not. It's not about that.
Is it me, or have you got random like things? No, they weren't random. Have you got like
all began with C?
Yeah. I was like, have you got the letter C? Apparently Dan's calendar, like, I don't know, is it like where do they toilet paper or something like that, and you have to use this many words with the letter C.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from. Oh, dear.
I was like, has he just opened like one of Isabel's old baby books? And was like, oh, we landed on the letter C, or just like reminiscing. Interesting.
There you go.
I guess we can move on to training. I'll take the mantle vaguely. In terms of 3 months, I think it's a similar thing. If you have 3 months to learn, like, number one, I would say I think the niche thing applies for fucking everything, all right? So learning about the people that you want to train, but probably where the nutrition thing you won't be able to do, but training you could be able to do this, is go observe the person who is training the demographic that you want to train, I would say. And within the first month, you want to observe them maybe 3-4 times, once a week maybe, and just go and learn what the fuck they're doing and why they're doing it and how they're doing it and what they're doing, like, with those people in those sessions, or if it's online, blah blah blah. Go talk to that person. They're more likely to talk to you about it, because that's going to be a case of, like, say, for example, if you want to come work with footballers, you could come talk to me and Dan, because we've worked with footballers. I still work with footballers as online, like, clients. That's the case. Because you're like, all right, you want to train footballers, like, how do they train? What is best for them? And then in terms of if you're coming with the fundamentals and not coming in with a lot of, like, I don't know, knowledge on training, I think things that don't take 3 months is going to be, I would probably go obviously the PT core, but probably just the training side, because that's my side. But if there was like an industry known, the CFSC is like the Mike Boyle method stuff is probably more in terms of a comprehensive way of training. But it totally depends on your niche, I would say. And if you're like, I want to be with bodybuilder, then go do some sort of bodybuilding based course. If you want to be a CrossFit hybrid athlete coach, then you go do something like that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It might be heap of shit, but it'll be fine. Okay, it's learning about your demographics, learning how they're training.
I think with that, I think that most people though would work Gen Pop though, right? I think that'd be the best place to go again in terms of people who are going to spend money on PT and stuff. And again, my recommendation for that would be to find the safest bang for your buck exercises done with the least amount of equipment. And I would base all my programming around that. And I would get a lot of people, again, just thinking out loud, I would want people in the gym who maybe they're a bit anxious, not really confident. I want them to feel that they can trust me, that I know what I'm doing. And I would be rinsing and repeating those basic movements and get people results with that. So
that's one of the other caveats as well, I guess. Yeah. In terms of when you're starting off in terms of training, I think there's a case of you have to start with the general population because you have to learn about those fundamental movement patterns. So I do lectures on them, right? There's 12, I categorize them as 12 fundamental movement patterns. And then we talk from what would be baselines. So learn your baselines of exercise, and then you work forwards and backwards of them. After 3 months, if you have 12 baselines, 2 progressions and 2 regressions, cool. We suddenly got, I don't know, I'm not even going to do the maths, over 60 exercises to do.
Yeah, that's what it'd be, yeah.
And then we're like, cool, we're cooking with gas. That's probably like, well, we've literally got 5 months worth of programming based on movement progression. That's based on the fact that you're going to change it every second time. So,
and then in 3 months, you're already ahead of 95% of PTs out there. So.
Yeah. So it's pretty, but then one of the other caveats, so I would be like, observe someone who's doing it so you can like future-proof yourself. If you're going to do a course, something like that, obviously I've written those kind of lectures. I probably should like just release them as clickbait things. But I could do that. It's fine. And then what would be teaching about that? So simple mechanics. We're not talking about fucking cuff shit. You don't have to go do that. It's fine. Just learn about your actual patterns that people move without actually stepping on the machine. Talking like just adding external load somehow. And then my last one, and it's one big caveat for me. And it's something that I think you guys probably were, I don't know if you thought about it when you take on your business and body like coaching people. But it's something that I always do with my mentees is, especially that I've always done with Third Space, probably like the last 5 years, they have to train. And it's something that was beaten into me from speaking to Kevin Carr. And he was just like, you are your fucking product. Don't give a shit that you like, all right, yeah, you can be fat and fine. Absolutely fine. Cool. But if you're an absolutely immaculate Ollie lifter and you're a little bit overweight, that's fine. I couldn't give a shit. But if you demonstrate the movement, that's 80%. Literally, they're like, that's 80% of what they're going to be doing. And if you're unable to coach that, and just by doing that, yeah, that's going to suck, right? So I would be like, cool. For those 3 months, you're going to follow 3 structured 4-week programs. Yeah, that's what you're going to do, and be meticulous with it and just do it.
Yeah, it's one of those we do offer it to our coaches, but a lot of them will be like, "Oh, I'm all right with that," or "I've got that covered," or someone, or they might have another coach do it for them and stuff, which again is okay, I suppose. But yeah, I always prefer it when I do that for them because I think it's important. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people don't.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just good. Especially it's a little bit odd if you're working with a niche that they want to. You'd be like, all right, fucking hell, I'll just get in a little bit more for whatever I'm paying. So
yeah.
Yeah. For example, if you want to learn how to train for performance, come just have a chat. Like it's absolutely fine. Jesus. All right, and then business. What would you do in the first 3 months?
From a business point of view, I would do 2 things. And this is 2 things that people, I think, to be honest, at any stage, they would benefit from doing. And it's something that I said the other day that I would do if I was starting from scratch right now, is I would post a talking head video every single day based on my niche, and I would send an email every single day. And people will go, oh, what's the point? There's no one listening. There's no one watching. Well, what better time to post your worst content then? Yeah. What better time? And the only videos after that are gonna happen is that they're gonna get better. It's the only thing that can happen to them. So people say this all the time. I'll wait until I'm better. I'll wait until I've done this course. No, just make them, and you'll soon start to see what lighting looks better, and you'll spend more time watching the people, and you go, oh, actually, I'm gonna do that better. I'm gonna make that look better. So they're the 2 things that I would do. And again, it's not really business related, but it kind of is. because that will get you more business in a year's time than worrying about, whether you've got the best onboarding process or the best this or best that. If you give a shit about people and your clients, your onboarding can be not the best, but your service will outperform it. You only need a good slick onboarding when you're busier, when you've got not enough time or whatever, right? If you're there and you're literally giving people your phone number and you're like, just text me if you have any problems, and you send them everything, they're going to be okay, right? But it's video every day and get used to being on camera. And I don't mean like film it every day, but film a batch of them, post it every day about a topic, be authentically you, be what you are. Don't copy other people, but again, also as well, turn up certain personality traits you've got a little bit as well. That helps. But do that for 3 months every day for 90 days. And again, people won't do it. So it doesn't make a difference, but you would be amazed at what would happen if that was the case. Again, like I can't remember who it was now. Someone asked me this the other day. It was like, if you just lost everything tomorrow, what would you do and how would you go about it? That's exactly what I would do. I would start up a brand new Instagram page, get on the emails, get on the video, and I would just be like every single day, going at it every single day. And I think people don't believe you when you say that. I don't believe me when I say that. But I see a lot of coaches who are doing okay. And I really want them to almost lose it all so that they have to do that, because it's almost like they're on enough money that it's kind of like, they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. But if they were at zero, that's the mentality they should have, is I'm at zero. And like, I've gone through a transition. This is really segued, but who cares? I've gone through a real transition recently where some of you guys may have noticed, some of you may or may not have, but with mine and Mike's content now, we're posting a lot more of like the YouTube video clips and stuff like that, because it's really easy to put out. We've got someone that edits for us. We don't have to worry too much about content. You might have noticed my stories have gone down. I don't really post huge amounts of my stories hugely. And it's kind of because I've got a little bit comfortable. I'm going to put my hands up. I've got a little bit comfortable. And I'm this close to feeling back to myself and back to wanting to post content and really wanting to really step it up again. And sometimes you need that time away to really go, right. For example, like in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to set myself the challenge of going, right, you've got 0 clients. What the fuck would you do? And almost do it as like a case study for the coaches and for all the people that we work with. Because for us, between September and December is a little bit quieter time because we've not got so many things going on, me and Mike. Yeah. And I've really thought about just going, do you know what? For 60 days, set myself the challenge to go, no, fuck it. Do it. And do a separate email list for 60 days, just completely separate to what we already do. Just daily thoughts, daily feelings, whatever it might be. It's almost a journal type thing with some help in there. And then a daily talking head video every single day. Because you do need sometimes to have that downtime to get that fire in your belly again. But I tell you one thing that would get that fire in your belly is if you had 0 fucking clients and you had 0 money coming in. I don't get it. I don't get how people sit there and go, I could do more clients. I'm like, why are you not doing this every day? Like, why are you not putting out more? And, people say to me, what's the minimum you think I should do in terms of emails? Well, what do you mean? Like, you should be asking me, what's the maximum that I can do? You should be asking yourself that question. What's the maximum I can do? And it baffles me because people look at me and you maybe, and they'll go, oh, but you're not doing it every day. You don't need to do it every day. I'm all right.
Well, I can speak from experience, and obviously, everybody behind, or probably listens to this, and Dan obviously knows because I was like up front with him, in terms of when obviously the PTC stopped doing stuff, right? So that was a large contract in theory for me. Mm-hmm. Like, we can talk numbers, like 2.5 to 3 grand a month of my income this year that I lost. You know what I did?
Posted every day on Instagram.
Fucking stepped on my online coaching and stepped on it hard. And then I was like, you know what? Took on 10 clients in about 6 weeks.
So this is the difference though as well. The difference here though is what I will say with you is that you know exactly who you're speaking to, you know exactly what to say, right? And your content's bang on. So there's that, right? Which helps. And that does help. There's no doubt about it. But that's also because you've also got 800 posts from before then that you kind of know what you did wrong or what you need to improve upon. Yeah. And I bet you feel more confident now. You've posted almost every day for 60 days. You like, my videos are loads better. The content's better. Well, I know what looks better, what gets more engagement.
Today,
right?
Literally, I was walking down, and I probably will, I don't know. And I would have no problem, literally, when I was just walking back home through Regent's Park, to be honest, just putting up me chatting about fucking sled work. I've got no problem putting that on my actual feed now. I was just like, you know what? I probably will put some of these on. And I'll just be like, it's just me chatting. It's fine. That's absolutely fine content for me because that's me. It's talking head video. It's unprepared. Fuck it. If you got, I realize there's a confidence of it, and I'm just like, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. I've got that experience. I know what I'm doing. And yeah, you'll have to get there for a certain.
You've got the nice little subtitles as well, haven't you? That everyone else has got. What app do they use that on? That's not Instagram, is it?
No, it's not Instagram.
I can't get captions on Instagram anyway. But yeah, I've noticed everyone's got the little.
Where?
In Dubai, you can't get the captions on Instagram stories for some reason.
No. I use literally an app. It is called Captions.
Literally called Captions.
I'll show down the.
Carry on.
It's that one, not the.
It's just called Captions. Yeah.
Literally called Captions with a little. It looks like a little Q, but not. Yeah, because I bought. Why would I see some of this? So I'm part of like a mentorship group as well, and I see like, oh, I don't want to spend 50 quid on this. Just do it. Fuck me. If it's going to make your life a little bit easier. So in terms of some of my reels and stuff like that, obviously you can do reels on Instagram and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. But I use Video Leap, Light Leap, Art Leap, Photo Leap, and Beat Leap for it was something like 30 quid. I get all of those all year. I was like, all right, done. And then Captions was like fucking. I don't know. It might have been. It's definitely paid for, but not expensive. And I was just like, you know what? That's fine, easy, and all done for you. And it even does the silencing editing for you, Dan. So when you're recording a video, this is for people just going off a tangent, isn't it? When you're recording a video, don't obviously you muck up, but it literally it clips it for you. Like, so you just go silent when you fuck up and then come back with it and it clips it all. And then you can just delete what you want in it. And I'm like, this is magic. All right, I'm doing that.
There you go.
Saves a lot of time. So
very good.
Very good. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I was like, shit, could do it all now. No, I'm joking.
But it's one of those things though where I just think people want the magic and they want to get to someone's video 100 and how it looks, and it's like you cannot do it. You just go from video 1 and you just learn quickly and you make mistakes and all that sort of stuff. But look, that's the reality, and a really simple advice. People won't follow it because people, and again, so what people do is they go, oh, I couldn't do it for 60 whole days, so I gave up on day 23. Well, again, that's the mentality of that all or nothing. Well, I just won't bother then. Well, no, you just go straight on to day 24 and just forget it. Okay, you did 58 out of 60 days. Brilliant. But again, it's that whole thing of just wake up, rinse, repeat, go to bed, wake up, rinse, repeat. And people don't want to hear it, and it's boring, and I get it. But it fucking works, and not enough people are doing it. And like I said before, you'll be above 95% of other, scrap that. You'll be above 99% of other online coaches if you do it. If you turn up every day, the amount of time I spend speaking to the coaches I work with, I'm like, have you turned up today on Instagram? Have you turned up? Have you shown people that you're there? Have you shown people that you've got value, that you work with clients, that you're good at what you do? No. Well, then what are you doing? Why are you expecting people to just rock up and give you money?
It's an interesting one as well. I recently started listening to who is it? It's not on fucking there. They're really fucking short. It's The Game with Alex Hormozy.
Yeah, Hormozy. Yeah,
Hormozy. Quite like that little podcast. They're all fucking short as fuck. So you can print, like on my walk home, I can do 3, I think, going through. But there was one thing that resonated with me today. Was and this falls back on, I think, so it wasn't easy for me to pick up 10 clients within kind of 6 weeks, but it was just, I literally just had to do a little bit of graft, right? Okay. But it was the fact it was like people buy based on value they have already received, not that what they're going to receive. So I think people kind of hanging back on terms of not giving. This is why we've done 330 fucking episodes of like podcasting, because hopefully we've added value and people tend to know us and they expect the product afterwards anyway. And they're gonna, in terms of what, because we get results, it's absolutely fine. We know we're good at what we do and we achieve people's goals. But it's also because we've given up so much fucking free value, and we'll quite happily, and we will have to give more, 100%. And we will continue to, because you still want to be like that person they go to for that question. But if you don't ever show
just on that as well, we get this question a lot about value. So people say, oh, you need to provide value. And people think that giving someone protein swaps is value. That's not value. That's junk. It's crap. People value your opinion, right? So when you look at everything Alex Hormozi does, right? Yes, there's value in it, but it's just his opinion. He doesn't sit there going, well, according to scientific research, this shows this. He just goes, I've done this. It worked with these people. You should probably try it. And you know what? It worked. Like
the title of my note on that today is literally, it says how I.
That's how authority. I exactly that, right? How I. And this is, and I posted this on my story today. Literally half an hour before coming on this podcast. I posted this, right? And I said, coaches, it's okay to not like more popular fitness influencers for whatever reason, but please don't be so dismissive and narrow-minded that you don't spend time looking for the clues as to the reason why they might be successful with social media, right? And obviously I was talking about James Smith because people slag him off all the time, but they do not have a fucking clue as to why he's so successful. They just go, I don't like him and the way he does this. He doesn't know anything. Well, 1.1 million followers and you've got 2, so he does know something. And it's all that. It's how I help my clients do this, what I think of this. This is what I believe in this scenario. This is why keto sucks. This is why I think keto is awful. It's not keto is bad because you don't have to cut out carbs. He doesn't say that, does he? He doesn't say it like that. And people... Alex Hormozi is a prime example of this. Like you said, it's the how I did this. Because guess what? He's a multi-millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. And what's really cool as well, if anybody's an entrepreneur, and I guess we have to class ourselves as fitness entrepreneurs, he also started in fitness. That's where he built gyms, and that's what he did. He did gym stuff, and he sometimes talks to fitness-based people, and he's documenting. He's like, I'm on the road to $1 billion company. I just want to document everything I've ever done during this because nobody's ever done it. That's all. Like, he was just like, you know what? It would be really cool if fucking Jeff Bezos, and he was like, today, he was like, it would have been really good if Jeff Bezos said, oh, day 24, have to send out some books for Amazon today. This fucked up. Oh, well, we'll learn. I'm going to do this tomorrow. That's all it like probably like 4 or 5 minute like journal. And that's all he wants to do. But the I thing like resonated with me because I was like, yeah, you're right. He immediately switched over. And when somebody says you need to do this, you go, yeah, you're a prick. I don't want to do what you say, like you need to do. I'm like, you need to eat more protein. Fuck off. I don't want to be told what to do. So
that is exactly what I would do in my daily emails. That's exactly what I do in my daily emails. How I did this. How I overcame this. This is what happened to me today. It was a fucking shit day. This is what happened. This is how I overcome it. This is how I got around it. I just called it a rest day. And people, again, they use Instagram, things like that as like as almost again, this outlet for just free information. But what people want is they want to know what you're doing, what you're going through. And it's why you said before about you need to show your training a bit more and this sort of stuff. You need to show that side of stuff because they want to know your opinion on your life, how you've achieved what you've achieved so that they can emulate that into some degree because they follow you, because they resonate with you and your values. That's why they follow you. If they didn't, they'd unfollow you. They resonate with you based on your personality, your opinions, your sense of humor, your life. They then want to know how you've achieved all that because they see something about you that they resonate with, that they go, well, I'm like Tom because I like my training like that. So how does he help his clients do that then? And then Tom goes into, well, this is how I do it. This is how I train people. This is how I do that. And that is what your email list would be. It would be a almost like a documentation of how you go about your life. And people want to know because they want advice from someone who's in shape, who knows how to lose weight, who knows how to gain muscle. That's what they want. They want insight. They don't want to know the mechanisms. They want to know how you get, they want to know what happens when you rock up to the gym and it's bank holiday and it's closed and you forgot. Tell the story of that day, what happened, what you did instead, why it doesn't matter, how you're going to rectify it the next day so they can learn from it. And then when they're ready, they'll go, well, I need that person to help me. And again, not enough people doing that style of stuff. It's, oh, you should probably get your knee up because it's good for okay, no, all right.
I've seen a lot of, I don't know why I'm getting spammed with these. It's like, oh, great options in Tesco's.
Right. What is that about?
What is this?
What is that, by the way? Because I saw this the other day. Oh, high protein foods in Asda. And I went, no, they're just high protein foods in any supermarket, mate.
Yeah, yeah. It's always in,
why are they
in Aldi? And you're like, what is this trend?
What is that about? Can someone explain that? Please, someone message me on Instagram, DM me. I don't get that because I can't believe people are sat there going, oh, yeah, okay. And they're making notes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nobody's doing that. Nobody's going, oh, yes, finally.
And it's like, you don't need to do it for Tesco, for Sainsbury's, for M&S, for Waitrose. You don't need to. Just say when you go to the supermarket,
it's all the same shit. Trust me in terms of manufacturing. I'm sure it's all the same shit, just slightly different packaging.
What is that about?
Anyway, I think we'll end on that.
Also, as well, by the way, no, just on that. Let's keep going on this.
We're going
to keep going on this. Also, as well, a lot of recipes as well on Instagram at the moment for food, isn't there?
Is there a lot of recipes? Is there?
Well, similar ilk. Like I see a lot of people go, this is 400 calorie, this, and this. And they're obviously getting a lot of views on Instagram, right? Because people are, on Reels, people obviously want big views and stuff like that. I just don't see how it's correlating to necessarily clients food. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I mean, I'm not inclined to do that. But a lot of those as well, like recipe videos on Instagram. I'm like, are people on Instagram for recipe videos? I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know.
You know what I go on? I go on Tasty. My app, Tasty.
Yeah. I used to remember that. Yeah. But that wasn't low. That wasn't like low calorie, high protein options. That was just really good food.
It's just how many calories can I fit in my mouth at once? Yeah. And it would just be like, really, it's stuff that you've never like in terms of cooking. I quite like cooking. It's just stuff you never really
think about.
Oh shit, I can make broccoli, pasta, bacon sandwiches. And you're like, they're really good, apparently. And I'm like, shit, I'm gonna go there. That's always a good thing to do on the walk home. Be like, all right, what produce do I fancy being crazy with today? But yeah. Also, stupid things on the internet, Dan. Apart from all of that, clearly, this is quite an informative podcast. See what I mean? If I can got through this podcast, you might have learned a fair bit if you're a coach, or we might have pointed you in a little bit. Our opinions, exactly. I sent down a if you want to become a chiropractor, what they do at chiropractic school was they were at a gym and they had like lots of dummy, like those like I don't know, that's their version of the CPR or Annie, whatever it was, like their version of it, and they're like jolting the neck and obviously Adam Meekins. Don't particularly like Adam Meekins, but every now and then it's comedy value. He was just like, yep, chiropractors learning to decapitate people. Obviously, that's what's happening here. Fucking madness. And I had no idea that happened. Obviously, they would need to practice on something, but it was just the far-fetched way. It was just like in a gym setting as well. They were just around a rack, like a cage rack or something like that, and they were just like yanking this like a dummy's neck, like a good. And when I say there was 6 or 7 of them all around, like doing.
What? Someone could have put a title on there saying like BJJ or like UFC practice, and I would have gone, okay, cool, yeah. Trying to rip the head off. It looked like it was proper going for like, oh my god.
They also could have been like, we decided to go into a psychological unit. I would have been like, this is what they do to try and get people away from killing people. We have to replace the humans with a dummy, then we take the dummy away. And they're like, or
one of those rage rooms. Yeah, one of those rage rooms that you go into where you smash it up. Yeah, like that.
Like Laura goes and then she has one of those dummies. She puts Dan's face on it and then she starts to go around.
Destroy it, yeah.
Right. All right. Jesus Christ. All right. Valuable. Well, that turned into a valuable episode, I feel, after me just writing 3 questions down. That's all my notes were before the show. So I'd check that out if you're a coach. Well, if you're already listening this far, fuck me, you probably checked it out. Or you've listened to us. I think most people probably listen to us on 1.5. I can't do that. I listen to voice notes on 1.5 from my clients because some of them take far too long. Yeah,
obviously.
And then... But podcasts I can't do. I like the normal rhythm of people speaking.
Yeah, normal rhythm podcast. Yeah. 100%.
It's a weird one. All right. Any other business?
Not from me. No,
not from me. Obviously, like, share, go tell someone about us at some point. Yeah,
please.
Wonderful. Please, Jesus Christ. About any show we've done. 330 of them, mate. That's a lot of time, isn't it? And this one's been one of the longer ones. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you.
See you later.